Hey guys, back with you. Let me know if the audio's any better. Hopefully it is. See what we got now. So let's see if our audio is any better. Not sure if it is, but hopefully we can make it a little bit better here because we have a lot to go over. It looks like our video is pretty good. I don't know why we're having audio problems now, but this is getting really, really annoying and got to figure out how to diagnose all these things. So, hey guys, is the audio better? Just give me a heads up. Let me know if the audio is better. All right. Anyway, so we were talking about Peter Strzok. We're going to be talking about Peter Strzok today. I've got a lot of information on that. Had dinner with a senior federal agent last night who works in, he works in a different federal agency under the Department of Justice. Very high-ranking guy in OPR, their internal affairs. A lot to go over with that. Also going to be talking about these New Mexico suspects released on what's called a signature bond. They're not going to have to put up any bond. It is disgraceful, beyond bad. I'm going to give you examples of other bail that I've seen. Now, they were supposed to be released on 20 grand bail each. It's now a signature bond, meaning they won't have to put up any money. Terrorists, Muslim terrorists, training children to shoot up schools inside the United States. A leftist activist judge out in liberal Taos, New Mexico, seems to think that's acceptable. Seems to think that's all very, very acceptable. I'm beside myself on this one. Simply beside myself on this one. Have never seen anything this bad in my life. Never. I don't understand what these judges want to do. So the judge I'm going to get into that in a minute, but the judge essentially said there isn't enough. The state didn't make a case that putting these filthy, disgusting Muslim terrorist savages in jail would benefit public safety. In other words, state of New Mexico didn't provide enough evidence that these savage lowlives were a danger to the public. I have never heard of anything that dumb, that just epically effing dumb in my entire life. It enrages me. All right, but back to Peter Strzok. Now, Peter Strzok was fired. Disturbingly, his GoFundMe has raised a lot of money. Let's see how much it's raised so far. Peter Strzok's GoFundMe has now raised, you ready for this? This is a guy who destroyed lives, $216,942 as we sit here, raised by 5,361 people in the last 20 hours. This guy has almost $250,000 in his GoFundMe, all from far leftists, anonymous donors, $15, $20, disgraceful. So Strzok is fired. Now, you remember what he did, and good morning, everybody. You're coming in fast and furiously. So I'm going to get to your comments a little bit later. All right. So Peter Strzok is fired by the new FBI Deputy Director, Dave Bowditch. Now, Bowditch, I've been hearing very good things about Dave Bowditch. Even Sebastian Gorka, when he and I were having breakfast last year, when there was talk of Bowditch being the guy to replace Andy McCabe, said he's a good guy. Seb had worked with him, said he's a really good guy. I've got friends in the FBI, especially over in the LA field office, who worked with Bowditch. So I'm laughing because David May says Q never saw this coming. Exactly, because Q is fake. Q is a fake who uses curated news articles that you didn't see from yesterday and tries to make people believe that they're real. Q, the insider, didn't know that this guy was going to be fired. Give me a break. And yeah, my buddy Jack Posobiec took Q down epically. Jack and I have been chatting about that quite a bit. We've been texting. We actually have a lot of fun joking about Q and the people that buy into it. Anyway. Gail Kottman says, one of my videos was deleted as you were looking at my live stream. No, it wasn't. I deleted it. the sound quality, the audio was bad. Gail, I had to restart the stream, so I got rid of the video. There was no sense in having a partial video with bad sound up there. So wasn't YouTube doing that to us? That was me, my friend. All right, so Strzok gets fired. Now, FBI's OPR, the Office of Professional Responsibility, only recommended a 60-day hit, suspension, and a demotion in rank. Whether he was SES or GS-15, they would have bumped him down to either GS-15 or GS-14, or even just a step down in 15 or SES. All right. So something happened. Now, we don't know what happened, but something happened that caused the new FBI Deputy Director, Dave Bowditch, like I said, a guy I've heard really good things about, to step in and fire Strzok rather than take OPR's recommendation, and give him the 60-day hit. What I suspect happened, and I had dinner with a very senior federal agent in another agency's OPR. What he suspects happened, what we all suspect happened, is that the Office of Inspector General presented something even more damning than was already known to the director and the deputy director of the FBI, which then necessitated Peter Strzok's firing. All right, so here's how it all works. Whenever an allegation of misconduct comes into one of the federal law enforcement agencies under the Department of Justice, whether that be the DEA or the FBI or whatever, the allegation automatically goes to the Department of Justice Office of Inspector General. Now, what a lot of people don't know is that the Office of Inspector General, it's autonomous, but they're not as experienced as the media made them out to be. The bulk of their work, the bulk of OIG's work is spent doing internal investigations into Department of Justice, Federal Bureau of Prisons, federal prisons, allegations of corruption against prison guards, allegation of abuse by the prison guards, investigating the private facilities they contract to. That's the bulk of their work. It's very rare that OIG gets a case like they got with Strzok and McCabe and Comey, high level counterintelligence, those kinds of things. That's very rare for OIG. All right. Very rare for OIG. So what OIG typically does is, no matter the allegation of wrongdoing, anything from that FBI agent is working with the mob to kill people to that FBI agent working with the mob to kill people to that FBI agent cut me off and gave me the finger on my way to work in their government car. All of that originally goes to OIG. OIG then looks at him and says, well, we want this one. This one we're going to send back down to the FBI's OPR, Office of Professional Responsibility, and let them handle. Now, in the case of Strzok, he was being looked at by both. OPR was looking at him for the text messages. Did they violate procedure? What can be done about that? Is it criminal? Is it not? Because OPR can also touch the criminal stuff. And there are many instances where OPR works alongside Inspector General and other agents to go after, say, corrupt agents that are engaged in racketeering, organized crime activity, drug dealing, stealing money, that kind of thing. So in the case of Strzok, you had an OIG investigation. You have an OIG investigation going to determine whether or not he tampered with the witness statements, those 302s. That would be criminal, right? That's witness tampering, obstruction of justice. While at the same time, you have an OPR investigation going to determine the proper punishment for the text messages between him and Lisa Page. We're going to take down Trump. We're going to stop him using their FBI devices, sending 50,000 texts. That's what OPR was looking at. So OPR came back and said, well, give the guy 60 days suspension and demote him. My suspicion as to why he was fired, but it's the same suspicion of some very senior federal agents I know, is that, excuse me, OIG most likely came back to the director of the FBI and the deputy director and said, wait a second, we see some other things that are really bothering us. It's so sensitive. We want to show you right now. We don't even want to wait till the end of the investigation. So, hey, director, hey, deputy director, this is what we found so far. And the suspicion is that when Ray and Bowditch saw it, they said, oh, we can't even keep this guy on the payroll anymore. We can't keep this guy in the building. This is really bad. And that led to his firing. Oh, spilling water on myself. Now, the reason I suspect that is that's very much the way Andrew McCabe was fired. Over the weekend, when McCabe was fired, now Strzok was fired on Friday. I'm going to get to timelines in a moment. But McCabe's firing was announced on a Monday, and over that weekend, the inspector general came to Christopher Wray, the newly minted FBI director, and showed him some things that necessitated the firing of Andrew McCabe. I suspect that's what happened with Strzok. The other reason I suspect that's the case and that the information against Strzok was very damning is he was fired on Friday and nothing leaked. Nothing leaked. It never leaked. We never knew Strzok was fired until the FBI issued a statement confirming the statement issued by Strzok's attorney. Yeah, it was Strzok's lawyer who told us he was fired, and the FBI simply confirmed it. It never leaked. Had it leaked, or I should say, let me back up, if the information against Peter Strzok wasn't damning, it would have leaked. If it was only about Trump pressuring people, it would have leaked. Now, that's the new spin. The new spin is Donald Trump pressured people to fire Peter Strzok. Oh, my God. Peter Strzok is an amazing guy, a career public servant. Oh, he's a great human being. But he's not. He's a bad guy. He's a bad, bad guy. Wow, you guys are coming in fast and furiously. I love it. I love it. So, well, Teresa Mulligan says about Peter Strzok, I'm waiting for the criminal charges. Well, we don't know. We don't know. But so, if Peter Strzok is raising $250,000 for a legal defense, he's afraid of something. All right? Again, speculation. But I suspect that what he knows why he was fired, he's trying to get in front of it, and he knows that the real reason for his firing could possibly result in criminal charges. And if it does, he's going to need a lot more than $250,000. A lot more. Mr. Low-Key, good morning to you in Southern Indiana. Love that part of the country, especially that Louisville, Indiana border. Beautiful, beautiful place. I've done that drive up to South Bend quite a bit. Billy Breitling says the FBI has too much power in one spot, should be broken into smaller agencies. Oh, I disagree. There were bad people at the top of the FBI. Bad people. But the agents do a pretty damn good job. And let me tell you, I talked to a lot of agents. They are really disgusted with Strzok. Really. Now, another suspicion I have is that Lisa Page is cooperating with the government, that she turned on Strzok. I suspect Lisa Page is cooperating, and that's why Strzok is nervous. And I suspect she had something to do with the firing, not her personally, but information she provided to the government. I suspect that is part of the case. Mr. Low-Key, thank you very much. Love having you in the audience. Yeah, no, it really is a great part of the country. I have a lot of good friends down in the Indianapolis area, friends in Carmel. So I get up there often, and some family in South Bend. So I get up to that area often and always enjoy it. Always really relaxing being in Indiana. No more PC says Strzok makes the FBI look terrible and untrustworthy. Yeah, I had dinner with a younger agent about 3 weeks ago. He's a friend's husband. And a really solid guy, was an Army special operator, went into the Bureau in his 30s, despises Strzok and McCabe. Did, though, tell me that Comey wasn't a bad director, left the agents alone to do their job, said Ray is much more of a micromanager. But they're all lawyers, and Comey eventually got jammed up. So he said they're embarrassed by what Comey did. He said, but day to day, Comey wasn't the worst guy to work for. He just let the cops be cops, let them do what they needed to do. He didn't step on too many toes. And also remember, you can always super chat, give a donation, and we'll bump your comment right to the top of the list. Nigel says he trusts us at Rebel more than BBC. Well, you should. We're not state-run. We are not state-run media. We're an independent voice. Let's see. Oh, I got a lot of friends from the UK on with me today. Awesome. All right, so that's my suspicion on Peter Strzok. I suspect Peter Strzok knows why he was fired. I suspect it was for something more serious than just those text messages. And as much as they know what they're trying to spin, all right, and I don't know if you saw this, but let me read you part of the GoFundMe that Strzok has up. He's raised almost $217,000 as of this morning. Peter Strzok, a man who has spent his entire life working to help keep us and our nation safe, has been fired. He needs your help. For the last year, Pete, his work, and his character have been the target of highly politicized attacks. Excuse me, allergies, including frequent slanderous statements from President Trump, who actively and apparently successfully pressured FBI officials to fire Pete. Now, notice how he never takes any responsibility for anything he did. None. Not Pete sent 50,000 text messages to his mistress with whom he was cheating on his wife. Pete tried to undermine an election. Pete tried to coup the sitting president. He never talks about that. No, he's the victim because he got caught. And I can't believe they're a bunch of morons giving this guy nearly $220,000. The hell is wrong with these people? I've evolved my thinking on something. I believe that Andrew McCabe was a Hillary crony and a Hillary operative. I believe that the rest of them are selfish and trying to save their own skin. What do I mean? All right. For a long time, we've all speculated that all of these people did what they did because they had some ideological loyalty to Hillary Clinton. But that's not it. That's not it. They all figured Hillary was going to win. The whole world was telling all of us, 92% Hillary, 8% Trump, 98% Hillary, 2% Trump. So they all jumped on the bandwagon to help who they thought was going to be their ultimate new boss, Hillary Clinton. When Hillary lost, I think there were a lot of moments where they said, we got to cover our tracks because we pretty much broke the law. So now what do? Well, you got to discredit this new guy coming in. We've got to make something up to paint this new guy as a bad guy so that if he starts firing us and prosecuting us, it's going to look like he's trying to kill an investigation into him. So I don't believe it was ideological loyalty to Hillary. I believe they're all covering their asses. They're all covering their tracks. And that's what's going on here. They're saving their own skin. They don't care that Hillary's not the president. They're saying, damn, we shouldn't have gotten in so deep with her. Why did they tell us she was going to win? Now we're screwed. We screwed ourselves. And that's what it is. Yes, I said it in my Bruce Orr video, and I'm even more convinced of it now. And I'm going to keep repeating it until people start to see it. Because it's important. It's really, really important that people understand. Look, to me, that's worse than being ideologically aligned with Hillary Clinton. To me, it's worse. To me, it says we have not just political hacks and ideologues weaponizing law enforcement. We have self-serving opportunists weaponizing their individual law enforcement commissions for personal gain. That's worse than an ideological bias. Far worse. Far worse. But it creeps into every aspect of life. And there hasn't been enough justice shown to those who engaged in this soft coup. Make no mistake, that's all this is. Make no mistake. Gail Kotzman says, yes, the timeline of the corruption started before Trump was elected. Right, Gail, because they were told that Hillary was a slam dunk to win. So they were just ensuring that happened. And they were all jockeying the show. Hillary, I was more loyal. I was more loyal. I was more loyal. Look, I did more to damage Trump than he did. No, I did more to damage Trump than she did. So that when Hillary was there, they'd all get their bumps. It started as a kiss-ass movement. I truly don't believe it started as an ideological movement because the top guys were in for Hillary. All right? But there is no justice. There's no justice. Not enough people have been arrested. Not enough people have been fired. Now let's talk about the firings. And when the Democrats and even some neocon Republicans tell you, oh, this is all nonsense. Comey fired. Number 2, McCabe fired. Head of Counter-Intel Strzok fired. Rybicki left. Lisa Page left. Unprecedented. This has never happened. Never. In the nearly 100-year history of the FBI. The FBI is, 10, 12 years shy of being 100. This has never happened in the nearly 100-year history of the FBI. And Mueller was in the middle of it. He was a buddy of all these guys. We now know that Oleg Deripaska, the Russian they're trying to align Trump with, was asked by Mueller when Mueller was FBI director to personally fund the rescue of Bob Levinson, that FBI CIA guy, the contractor who was looking into Iran. Deripaska was asked personally by Mueller to fund the operation because the U.S. couldn't be behind an op inside Iran. Deripaska's a billionaire. He spent about $25 million of his own money doing that. Guess who Deripaska's primary points of contact were at the FBI? Andy McCabe and Pete Strzok. Yep. Guess who the agent that led the Levinson case was? Robin Gritz. You remember Robin Gritz? She's the agent that Andrew McCabe subsequently discriminated against, tried to have fired. Robin Gritz was detailed to the Defense Intelligence Agency from the FBI. She worked very closely with Mike Flynn, with General Flynn, a friend of mine. General Flynn went to bat for her against Andrew McCabe. Seeing how this all ties together now? Strip Bear donated. Thank you, Strip Bear. Why are so many lawyers in D.C.? Are they important? So many lawyers in D.C. because legislators legislate and they make law. Are they important? Well, depends if they win or not. What a good question. So you've got that same cabal, Mueller, McCabe, Strzok, Comey. General Flynn been fighting with them for years to protect an agent who wasn't in their cabal. These are old grudges, old grudges that have little to do with politics. Old grudges. That's the deep state. That's the swamp. That's it. Hey, Steve Salaka from Chicago. How are you, my friend? So Terrence Lambert says, yeah, Bruce Orr is still there. Yes. And that defies logic. And it shows that Jeff Sessions is powerless, useless. He's got to go. General Flynn is a good man, still is a good man. He's a friend of mine. I'm very friendly with the family. General is an outstanding American and one of the nicest gentlemen you'll ever meet. Gail Kotzman, where is Levinson still missing? Yeah, he's lost in Iran, Levinson. We don't know where he is. Strip Bear donated again, £5. Hillary is and was a beast. Did you kind of agree? Yeah, well, Hillary would have been the worst candidate ever. Yeah, Jeff Sessions is useless, all right? We all know that Q is now debunked. Never saw the McCabe firing coming. Debunked. And there is no plan. Trust the plan. No plan. Sessions is Useless. 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 But there's no justice. Why doesn't Flynn speak publicly about the injustice Chaz 1422 asks? Because he hasn't been sentenced yet. He hasn't been sentenced. It would be legally imprudent, legally nuts for the general to do that. But I predict he'll speak about it soon enough. I predict that. Tara Rose says aloha from Delray Beach. I'll be there later. I love Delray Beach. Thanks for doing this, man. Hillary is a monster, narcissistic, psychopath. I'm in Delray Beach a couple of nights a week for happy hour. Actually, one of my favorite places to go. Love that strip. Trump Tower was all a setup, Susie says. Susie67, thanks for the donation. Trump Tower was all a setup. It's obvious. Susie, could not agree more. I believe it absolutely was a setup from start to finish, ma'am. You are 100% correct. It was a setup to damage the Trump team, to make Don Jr. a guy I know well, good guy, make him look bad, all a setup. Yep. Let's see. Painful 13 is in Fort Lauderdale. So am I. Look at that. Got a bunch of locals now. Love it. All right, Fort Lauderdale, Delray peeps. Tell me your favorite places to go. We'll see if we go to the same places. Dinner or drinks. Speaksley used to live in Weston, 2000 and 2001, just west of the studio. Really nice area, Weston. All right, so I said there's no justice. So let's talk about this New Mexico Muslim terror case. Make no mistake, it is Muslim terror. Turbo Jones is talking about Admiral Rogers. Verdict still out on him. Not sure. Not sure. You know, it's a good question. He's talking, of course, about Mike Rogers, former head of the NSA. I still can't tell if he was a good guy, bad guy, or didn't want any part of any of it. I love Johnny Brown's Painful. Go there all the time. I was actually there on Sunday. Really, really fun spot. Anyway, so we've got this Muslim terror case out in New Mexico. He's Siraj training little kids with his sisters and his wife, training little kids to do school shootings. Well, a far-left judge, Gail, it's Admiral Mike Rogers. He was the former head of the NSA before General Nakasone, the current guy. That's who they're talking about. And this guy's training these little kids to shoot up schools. All right? He's got a band to marry Muslims. They found the body of a dead child on the property. They finally get a message from inside the compound. You know the story. They raid the compound. They rescue these kids. And a far-left effing judge in Taos, New Mexico, decides to free the guy. Gave him a signature bond so he can walk out, saying the state of New Mexico didn't prove that they were a danger. Are you kidding me? Let me back up because we froze. They raid the compound. They find a bunch of kids, 11 kids aged 1 through 15, being trained to shoot up schools. You got a bunch of radical Muslims. You got Qurans all over the place. And a leftist judge gives the guy a signature bond, gives the Muslim savage women a signature bond, and lets them out of court. They're free. They're free. And the judge said, well, state of New Mexico couldn't prove their case. They didn't prove that they're a danger to society. Are you effing kidding? Are you kidding me? Shoplifters get $5,000 bail. I had armed robbers with fake rubber knives in the Bronx. I watched them get $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 bail. They were abusing children, teaching them to kill other children. They found a body on the property. You can't prove they're a danger? This is infuriating. This judge should be kicked off the bench. This is an epic disgrace. And it's dangerous. And make no mistake about what happened here. They were black Muslim suspects. And this judge wants to do the liberal thing. Say, well, we're not going to rush to judgment. just because they're black and they're Muslim. That's all this is about. If they were white, Christian, NRA members, they would have no bond. And the feds would have taken the case. You're damn sure of that. You could take that to the bank. This is all because of their race and their political affiliation in very liberal artist colony, Taos, New Mexico. That's what this is all about. This is far left judicial activism at its very, very, very worst. This is a disgrace. Alistair Cook said it's dangerous and sickening. Yes. Yes. The cops didn't leave that stuff behind. A lot of bad information out there. Now, this is disgraceful. This is disgraceful. And again, make no mistake. This was identity politics from the bench of the worst kind. And these judges, they will get people killed. Look, they are getting people killed. They got cops killed in Massachusetts because they kept going easy on these savages, letting these career criminals out time after time after time. And we wind up with dead young police officers who served in Iraq and Afghanistan, made it home safe, get killed on the streets of their own damn city because of left-wing judges. It's a disgrace. Oh, man. It really infuriates me. So that's the latest in that case. That's what we know. That's what we know. And I'm sickened that I have to report on this stuff. Sickened. And you know what? No one will do a thing about it. No one will do a thing about it. Merkmad just made a really dumb comment. Ex-service people make seriously poor cops. Sorry, dude, that's about the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Some of the most proficient cops I ever worked with were former military. Squared away, tactically sound, level-headed. You have no idea what you're talking about there. I mean, this was just so bad. So bad. And I don't even know where to begin with this entire case. Don't even know where to begin. Merkmad, actually, you don't know what you're talking about. You're just trolling. It's all right. You got your 11 seconds. That's all you're getting on this one. Let's see. Let's go to some of your comments here. I got a whole bunch. Let's see. Wow. Let me find some good one. Here's a good one. Jonathan Bryant. Could the First Amendment be expanded to include the public domain, particularly for platforms that exist primarily to communicate ideas like Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube? You know, I'm torn. On one hand, if they want to be media outlets, then it should. No. We're doing a little better with our, but we still are getting a couple of little hiccups here. We were getting a little trouble with the stream, but what I was saying is the what do you call, if they want to be media outlets, they want to be news outlets, then yeah, the First Amendment should apply. If they don't, then want to remain private companies, then not. It's pretty easy. Merkmad just made another kind of a factually incorrect comment. Seen enough shootings on YouTube by former service members who are police. So you're using YouTube as the scientific basis for your argument. What you need to do is go to the statistics on police officers, and you'll see they're incredibly restrained. Compared against the amount of incidents to which they respond, they use deadly force almost exclusively when justifiable. And there is literally a handful of instances yearly where the police misuse deadly force over hundreds of millions of interactions with the public. Please never tell me that your basis for slamming the police are YouTube videos. That's not even anecdotal. That's junk data. All right, let's see what else we got here. Well, Ann Ritchie says they cook meth in New Mexico and do nothing while the children become drug addicts. And they cook meth everywhere. It's not unique to New Mexico. Strip Bear donated again. Keep coming, keep easy for me to say. Keep kicking butt. Love this channel. Well, we love having you here, Strip Bear. Yeah, they cook meth everywhere. Everywhere. Let's see what we got going on here. Let's see what we got going on. Yeah, let's see. Terrence Lambert says military, tradespeople, factory workers made the best cops, not college fuchs. I'll tell you what. Yeah, I mean, I worked with a lot of guys that came out of the military. A lot of guys, yeah, carpenters and plumbers and drywall guys. They have a work ethic. They have a work ethic. They made really good cops. And a lot of those guys had those businesses on the side. My old partner did. He was actually my boss. He was a police sergeant in the NYPD, and then he had a really successful contracting company. And so he did it before the job. He did it after. He still does it. Well, not anymore. He made a fortune and retired. But yes, I agree. Let's see. Let's see what else. The thing with ex-military is they have more firearm and self-defense training than cops that didn't go through the military. A much more solid base. And to an extent, it's different training. Where I found the military guys made really good cops was the discipline. Their understanding on how to de-escalate and escalate. They were level-headed. They had been trained. They had been humbled. They had drill instructors screaming in their face. So when a bad guy on the street was screaming in their face, they didn't get all worked up and jacked up and want to beat the hell out of the guy and get everybody else in trouble. They were cool through it. They were professional through it. That's where I found they made the best cops, because it's the rare instance you're going to get in a shootout. 99.9% of your day is spent interacting and talking to people, unless they get a little frosty and you got to put hands on them. And I found that my partners who had been in the military had a much more level head when doing that. Sure, the tactical training helped, but I always found it was that level-headedness that was really a key element. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see what else we got. A lot of hits on Michelle Obama. I don't even want to give her any airtime. I don't even want to take her seriously. Don't even want to take her seriously. As a presidential candidate, it's terrifying. MD says, John, what I fear is that with this continuing sewer stream of judgments by these leftist judges, I presume you mean, we'll eventually have people sick and tired of it, starting to take justice into their own hands. I don't think you're that far off. I don't think you're that far off. It's getting bad. Getting bad. Let's see what else we got. All right. Now I'm gonna have to put Merkmad in timeout. Gotta put them in timeout when they act like, when they're bad. Gotta put them in timeout. Believe me, we have the very, very best timeouts here. The very best timeouts. Believe me. All right, let's see what else we got. Inquisitor of Keck said you're judging a few hundred in the face of hundreds of millions. Not even a few hundred. Less than a dozen. Let's see. Noble Grand says, funny thing about black Muslims, Muslim doctrine is that black folks can't be true Muslims, may become an inferior Muslim by being adopted as a slave or servant to a Mideastern Arab Muslim. Well, I haven't heard that take before. Plenty of Muslim converts here in the prisons, many of them black. Oh, this is one of my favorite conspiracy theories. It's fun. Let's see. Tara Rose says, what about Joan Rivers, who said she was a tranny and that Obama was gay and that everybody knew, and then she was murdered a week later? Yeah, you know, a lot of women in my life believe that one as well. Nah, I don't think that was the case. I think Joan Rivers was a sensational comedian and funny as hell. And I think, and I remember her comment, Michelle Obama's a tranny, but I think Joan Rivers was an older woman in her 80s who just put a lot of strain on her body. Those continued plastic surgeries and that anesthesia. I don't think she was murdered. I think she just should have, she looked fine, and she started to look a little weird. She should have just enjoyed her fortune gracefully and spent time with her grandkids and not worried about anesthesia and being cut into. A body can only take so much, especially in the 80s. Let's see. Strip Bear, you are an ex-Marine. Thank you very much for your service. Let's see what else we got. Let's see what else we got. Oh, I have a lot of patience with the trolls. Yeah, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I mean, think about it. I'm sitting here telling you guys how a cop on the street's best asset is having a cool head and being able to de-escalate. I did that job. What am I going to do? Lose my temper on trolls that I can't even see? Nope. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. Eric Dondero is asking us, Tommy Robinson, apparently, doing okay. Rough time in prison. But like I always tell you guys, Ezra's in pretty much daily touch with Tommy and his family. I don't report on it because I'm avoiding it. I don't report on it because Ezra really is the one guy who has more information about that than anybody else. And so check out Ezra's videos, his stream, his Twitter. He can give you much more comprehensive real-time info on Tommy. Rough time in prison. Look, he's got to go back to court. So I'm sure he's a nervous wreck. But on the upside, he's home. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Let me see. James Comey had some tight connection to the Romanian government secret police. Well, every FBI director has to deal with foreign heads of state. Let's see. Speaking of escalation, are we likely to see some appropriate escalation from the police forces in the U.S. to protect the civilian population and property from the Antifa and BLM protesters? That's from Sexy Bearded Viking Wizard, the Badass Aussie. Well, you definitely have the best name today, Sexy. I hope so. I didn't like the way the DC police were being abused. They did a great job. They were very restrained. Very restrained. But I think if the police are too restrained, it's going to embolden and enable groups like Antifa. It's going to embolden and enable groups like Antifa. Don't worry, says thanks for covering what others won't and have it. Well, I appreciate it. We love doing this. Corey Wade has asked me about the Jones Act. It governs maritime law. Don't know much about it. I'm not the guy to ask about that. Although I will, instead of my own curiosity, Scott Eulinger, I've had Scott on the show often, a former CIA station chief, was a naval officer. He was also a merchant seaman for a while after the Navy. I know about the Jones Act because Scott and I discuss it. And what I will do for you is I will ask him his opinion of this. And if you can remind me on tomorrow's show or the next day's show, I'll let you know what he told me. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. Julian P says one issue in law enforcement these days as applicants or amount of applicants is down 60 to 70%. Many don't want to seem to put up with a lack of support. Well, yeah, that's true. I don't know if the application rates have fallen off that much, but there are a lot of reasons why they have fallen off. And you're right, they have. The economy's doing well. There are better paying jobs out there. War on police, lack of support, cops being vilified, second guessed, and doing it for very little money. So when you see cities like Chicago jumping off and the cops are being vilified when they do right, and there are better jobs out there for more money where you don't have to be treated that way, applications for policing jobs fall off. But even worse, the police agencies are forced to take a lower quality of applicant. And everybody loses. Everybody loses when that happens. That's a big problem. And unfortunately, we see that. What's that evil drug that kills with one touch? Fentanyl, do you mean, or carfentanil? Very, very strong. I think you mean either one of those. Eric Dondero is promoting Gab. 700,000 members is nothing, Eric. It's not, and the members on there are not anybody. Look, by all means, go to these independent platforms. I'm not putting Gab down. I think Gab has a weird user base. It's not for me. I've got a verified profile there. I don't use it. But 700,000 members isn't really any reach. So for those of us in media, Gab is still not anywhere near big enough to be effective. So like I said, I've got a verified profile there. I pop over from time to time, but it doesn't have a lot of utility for me yet. You know, if they're at 50 million members, maybe. Gail says, thank you for everyone in police, firefighters, veterans, EMTs, and current troops, and anyone else serving America. Great point, Gail. Thank you for your service, everybody. Terry Lambert says, no cop should wind up on the ground. Imagine. Nope. And I don't like this new trend, Terrence, of cops allowing suspects to touch them, and the cops are touching them and trying not to hurt them. Somebody puts hands on you, you put them into the ground. Because if they get away, and God forbid they hurt a child or a woman or an elderly person, that's on the cop for not using appropriate force. Inquisitor of Keck says, John, what's up with people in California and New York? Cities like that specifically being a-holes to cops. Leftists hate the police. They also don't want to protect themselves. They don't want guns. And they're the first ones to call the police. There's your answer. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. A lot of comments here. Red Rum says, get me a Ricola. It's not going to work. I took one. Just the weather here in South Florida. Rain, then not. Rain, then not. Rain, then not. It's got my allergies going nuts. It's terrible. Terrible. Let's see what else we got. A lot more on Michelle Obama. Michelle. I don't know. Poor Michelle. Strzok had a private Gmail. I didn't see that. Did not see that. Let's see. Let's look at some other comments here. Let's see what we got. I got to put Merkmad back in timeout for continuing to make up things about the police. Alistair Cook says opiates are addictive. Duh. Yeah, well, it's an epidemic. All right. And John, the only way we get a replacement for Facebook, YouTube, Twitter is to actually go use build the likes of these other platforms. May not pay off immediately, but will over time. You know what? Sure. But I've got to disseminate content. So I can't help a fledgling platform start up and abandon the bigger platforms. Can't do that. The other problem is, and here's where people are missing the math. There aren't enough conservatives who care that will ever build one of these other platforms to profitability. The math just doesn't work. So you got to change the existing system. Out of the billions, I think 2 billion on Twitter, many are outside the US, so they don't care about our politics. Of the hundreds of millions from the US, maybe you got 100 million, 80 million from the US. Many aren't political. Many are there because of celebrities or sports figures or, you know, those sarcastic jokes or the memes that are apolitical. So of the few million that remain who are politically wonky, who enjoy this stuff, there aren't enough to migrate off and start a new platform. And even if every single one of them did, that new platform might only be about 1/1000th the size of Twitter at best. That's why it's very noble to say, let's all start a conservative this. But there aren't enough people that would be interested in doing it compared to the amount of money that would need to be raised to do it. One of Gab's biggest problems is it's not user-friendly because that requires tens of millions of dollars in development work and constant maintenance to make a site user-friendly and provide all the bells and whistles. And so we've got to come to terms with scale, with the economy of scale, and that there really aren't enough conservative users who would gravitate to that platform, who would want to use it enough to have investors want to invest and to be profitable. And so we've got to change the existing platforms. We've got to change minds and take them head on. That's the problem. And it's not a put down and it's not defeatist. It's just dollars and cents. A venture capital firm isn't going to give you $100 million to build out this new platform if at best you're going to have 2 to 3 million members. No money in it for them. No money in it for them. Your site's only worth a couple of $1,000,000. Maybe. They're on the losing end of that financial proposition every time. And that's one of the main reasons you don't see it. It's not only ideological. There's just no upside financially to the investors. None. Oh, wow, Michelle running. A lot of people are worried about Michelle running. God help us if Michelle Obama ever makes it back into the... She shouldn't even be able to visit the place. No. All right, guys. I've got about, I don't know, a few minutes in me left to go through these comments. Let's see. A lot of times we gotta ban people. Gotta ban them for just being terrible, terrible people. And I went to do it. We deleted somebody's comments here, but my producers should ban that person. They know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to repeat what they said, but they should ban them from being able to post here. Yep. Wow. A lot of Michelle Obama. A lot about Michelle Obama. Yeah, let's hope. Well, I don't think the nation would ever have her. And she's not, Trinoculus enjoys my streams. Thanks. Thank you very much. And by the way, my producers, don't hide them. You can actually ban. Yeah, you did the hit. You did the permanent hiding. Perfect. That's the ban. Awesome. Inquisitor of Keck said a couple of minutes left. Is talking to me and these plebeians tiring for you? No, my voice is going. I could talk to you guys all day. I love doing this. I could be here for 10 hours. I'm just trying to push through it. I got to go get some hot tea and honey. But you guys have no idea how much I love doing this. This is fires me up. It's the greatest job in the world. It's our far worst ways to spend a high quality hour. Well, here's the thing, right? People are saying, now Jonathan Bryant makes a good point. He says, use both YouTube and BitChute, tell audience you're on both. Sure, but YouTube already has. Take the Rebel channel, right? We've got close to 1 million subscribers here. And it's organically built over years. Hard to just replicate that elsewhere. There's maybe a few percent of that million would go to another platform. So, do you give up your audience out of principle? I don't believe you do. I believe it's a bad business move. And I believe it does a disservice to your audience that might not want to migrate to a different platform. A lot of people here like our content. They're like-minded, but they're not necessarily ideologically activist enough to migrate platforms. So like I say, to be successful, you got to work in this current system. Chaz, $10 donation. Thanks, bud. Is Unite the Right a faux movement to impugn Trump and the base? Jay Kessler, a former CNN correspondent. More CNN cameras than alleged neo-Nazis. Another example, Jerry Montanez, a fake Trump voter plant. I think it is a dumb movement. It's not even a movement. I hate the name Unite the Right. It's got nothing to do with the right. Like 30 morons showed up. I think it's being magnified by the mainstream media to paint everybody on the right, Trump supporters and not, as white supremacists. It is a terrible, terrible idea that's going to backfire because groups like the Proud Boys go out there and say, we're not racist. And they kick these morons out of their rallies. Guys like me say it's a discredited movement. It's got no credibility. None. It's not about the right. I hate Unite the Right. I would never unite with a bunch of hateful racists. These people are, and they're just dumb. They're moronic. So I think it is a faux movement. And I think the media is trying to use it to discredit many of us. And I, for one, won't let them. Omega says no money there is not an argument. People will move over in time. It's not how it works. Money is everything. People aren't moving over unless there's user functionality and marketing and bells and whistles you can't get elsewhere and big names. And to get all those things, it takes a lot of money. So to say no money is it an argument? Simply incorrect. Cost money to build out platforms to make them user-friendly and popular, or nobody's going. All right, guys, I am going to be signing off because unfortunately we're at the end of our hour. Be back with you tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern. I'm going to do this all again. Want to see you there. Have a great day.